Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Understate the importance or quality of. The part of a scene, or picture, that lies behind objects in the foreground. He posed her against a background of rolling hills. Scenery hung at back of stage. Computer science, the area of the screen in graphical user interfaces against which icons and windows appear. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. Information that is essential to understanding a situation or problem. The embassy filled him in on the background of the incident. Extraneous signals that can be confused with the phenomenon to be observed or measured. They got a bad connection and could hardly hear one another over the background signals. A person's social heritage, previous experience or training. He is a lawyer with a sports background. Relatively unimportant or inconspicuous accompanying situation. When the rain came, he could hear the sound of thunder in the background. Understate the importance or quality of. Represent as less significant or important. Understate the importance or quality of. Material in the top layer of the surface of the earth in which plants can grow, especially with reference to its quality or use. The part of a scene, or picture, that lies behind objects in the foreground. He posed her against a background of rolling hills. A rational motive for a belief or action. The grounds for their declaration. Hit or reach the ground. A relation that provides the foundation for something. Cover with a primer. Apply a primer to. A connection between an electrical device and a large conducting body, such as the Earth, which is taken to be at zero voltage. Fix firmly and stably. Use as a basis for, found on. Bring to the ground. The storm grounded the ship. The solid part of the Earth's surface. He dropped the logs on the ground. The loose soft material that makes up a large part of the land surface. The first or preliminary coat of paint or size applied to a surface. A position to be won or defended in battle, or as if in battle. They gained ground step by step. A relatively homogeneous percept extending back of the figure on which attention is focused. Art, the surface, as a wall or canvas, prepared to take the paint for a painting. Confine or restrict to the ground. After the accident, they grounded the plane and the pilot. Connect to a ground. Ground the electrical connections for safety reasons. Hit a ground ball. He grounded to the second baseman. Hit onto the ground. Instruct someone in the fundamentals of a subject. Place or put on the ground. Throw to the ground in order to stop play and avoid being tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Scenery hung at back of stage. Scenery hung at back of stage. Computer science, the area of the screen in graphical user interfaces against which icons and windows appear. The top of a desk. Computer science, the area of the screen in graphical user interfaces against which icons and windows appear. Electronic equipment that provides visual images of varying electrical quantities. A magnifier of images of distant objects. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. Within the scope of an investigation. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. The context and environment in which something is set. The perfect setting for a ghost story. Arrangement of scenery and properties to represent the place where a play or movie is enacted. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. You can't do that in a university setting. A table service for one person. A place setting of sterling flatware. A mounting consisting of a piece of metal, as in a ring or other jewelry, that holds a gem in place. The set of facts or circumstances that surround a situation or event. The physical position of something. He changed the setting on the thermostat. Information that is essential to understanding a situation or problem. Extraneous signals that can be confused with the phenomenon to be observed or measured. They got a bad connection and could hardly hear one another over the background signals. Special importance or significance. The room was decorated in shades of gray with distinctive red accents. To stress, single out as important. Distinctive manner of oral expression. He couldn't suppress his contemptuous accent. The relative prominence of a syllable or musical note, especially with regard to stress or pitch. The usage or vocabulary that is characteristic of a specific group of people. He has a strong German accent. A diacritical mark used to indicate stress or placed above a vowel to indicate a special pronunciation. Put stress on. Utter with an accent. In Farsi, you accent the last syllable of each word. To stress, single out as important. Put stress on. Utter with an accent. To stress, single out as important. Give extra weight to a communication. To stress, single out as important. Dr. Jones emphasizes exercise in addition to a change in diet. Give extra weight to a communication. Her gesture emphasized her words. To stress, single out as important. Insert punctuation marks into. Interrupt periodically. Her sharp questions punctuated the speaker's drone. To stress, single out as important. Difficulty that causes worry or emotional tension. She endured the stresses and strains of life. Special emphasis attached to something. The stress was more on accuracy than on speed. Test the limits of. The relative prominence of a syllable or musical note, especially with regard to stress or pitch. He put the stress on the wrong syllable. Psychology. A state of mental or emotional strain or suspense. Stress is a vasoconstrictor. Put stress on. Utter with an accent. Physics. Force that produces strain on a physical body. The intensity of stress is expressed in units of force divided by units of area. The visual percept of a region. The possibility of future success. His prospects as a writer are excellent. Someone who is considered for something, for an office or prize or honor, etc. The visual percept of a region. Belief about, or mental picture of, the future. A prediction of the course of a disease. Explore for useful or valuable things or substances, such as minerals. Search for something desirable. Prospect a job. The context and environment in which something is set. Graphic art consisting of the graphic or photographic representation of a visual percept. He painted scenes from everyday life. A situation treated as an observable object. The religious scene in England has changed in the last century. The visual percept of a region. The painted structures of a stage set that are intended to suggest a particular locale. They worked all night painting the scenery. A display of bad temper. He made a scene. A consecutive series of pictures that constitutes a unit of action in a film. An incident, real or imaginary. Their parting was a sad scene. A subdivision of an act of a play. The first act has 3 scenes. The place where some action occurs. The police returned to the scene of the crime. The feelings expressed on a person's face. The visual percept of a region. A distinct feature or element in a problem. A characteristic to be considered. The beginning or duration or completion or repetition of the action of a verb. The act of looking or seeing or observing. He tried to get a better view of it. See or watch. View a show on television. Graphic art consisting of the graphic or photographic representation of a visual percept. Figure 2 shows photographic and schematic views of the equipment. Look at carefully, study mentally. View a problem. A way of regarding situations or topics, etc. Consider what follows from the positivist view. The range of the eye. They were soon out of view. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. The visual percept of a region. The most desirable feature of the park are the beautiful views. A message expressing a belief about something. The expression of a belief that is held with confidence but not substantiated by positive knowledge or proof. Deem to be. She views this quite differently from me. The range of interest or activity that can be anticipated. Outward appearance. They look the same in outward view. Purpose. The phrase, with a view to, means, with the intention of, or, for the purpose of. He took the computer with a view to pawning it. The visual percept of a region. A picture, or series of pictures, representing a continuous scene. The painted structures of a stage set that are intended to suggest a particular locale. They worked all night painting the scenery. The appearance of a place. Protect, hide, or conceal from danger or harm. Test or examine for the presence of disease or infection. Screen the blood for the HIV virus. A strainer for separating lumps from powdered material or grating particles. A covering that serves to conceal or shelter something. A screen of trees afforded privacy. The personnel of the film industry. A star of stage and screen. Separate with a riddle, as grain from chaff. Examine in order to test suitability. Screen these samples. A white or silvered surface where pictures can be projected for viewing. Prevent from entering. The display that is electronically created on the surface of the large end of a cathode ray tube. A protective covering that keeps things out or hinders sight. A protective covering consisting of netting can be mounted in a frame. They put screens in the windows for protection against insects. Examine methodically. Screen the suitcases. Partition consisting of a decorative frame or panel that serves to divide a space. Project onto a screen for viewing. Screen a film. The display that is electronically created on the surface of the large end of a cathode ray tube. The area in which something exists or lives. The totality of surrounding conditions. He longed for the comfortable environment of his living room. A message received and understood. Communication theory. A numerical measure of the uncertainty of an outcome. The signal contained thousands of bits of information. A collection of facts from which conclusions may be drawn. Formal accusation of a crime. Knowledge acquired through study or experience or instruction. A noisy fight. A disorderly outburst or tumult. They were amazed by the furious disturbance they had caused. Electrical or acoustic activity that can disturb communication. Psychiatry. A psychological disorder of thought or emotion. A more neutral term than mental illness. Activity that is a malfunction, intrusion, or interruption. He looked around for the source of the disturbance. An unhappy and worried mental state. There was too much anger and disturbance. The act of disturbing something or someone. Setting something in motion. The auditory experience of sound that lacks musical quality. Sound that is a disagreeable auditory experience. Modern music is just noise to me. Electrical or acoustic activity that can disturb communication. The quality of lacking any predictable order or plan. Emit a noise. A loud outcry of protest or complaint. The announcement of the election recount caused a lot of noise. Incomprehensibility resulting from irrelevant information or meaningless facts or remarks. All the noise in his speech concealed the fact that he didn't have anything to say. Sound of any kind, especially unintelligible or dissonant sound. He enjoyed the street noises.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.